What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your busy day today to come here and hang out with me. If I sound a little bit different or if my voice happens to give out at some point here, I am on the tail end of a cold that affected everything else except for my voice until today. So that's just kind of what I'm dealing with at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to power through this because I want to get this video out. This is going to be a really fun one to talk about. Before we do so, I have a couple things to touch on. The first thing I guess would be to talk about what this video is actually going to be about, which is going to be target, priority, and countering. A short story, okay? Target, priority, and countering. This is a very deep subject. There are so many things to be considering, both situationally, conditionally, map-based, team composition-based, your skill base. You know, it's just one of those things. It's really hard to truly give a concrete answer for something like this, but it's something that I just want to open up a discussion about, and I want to hear what you guys think about this too, because obviously we all have different experiences in game, and what I experience and what I encounter could be wildly different than from what you guys are experiencing. So if you want to chime in on this, I would love to hear it. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the things I'm going to talk about here, and like I said, this is going to be a short story. I'm not going to like deep dive into this, because I don't want this to take like 2 hours to talk about and still have no clear conclusion, because that's really, honestly, that's what would happen probably. But also in the Discord is popping right now. We got some really cool people in there playing games together, talking about different things, analyzing stats. So it's a great place to, like, you know, join and have this conversation with other people in the community and then me as well. So I want to give you guys a quick little update here on my rank up progress. Sadly, that update is that there is no additional progress. I've just been trading wins and losses pretty much, and I'm stuck in Grandmaster 3. I was 1 win away. I was like 3 points away from Grandmaster 2, and then lost 3 games in a row, had somebody quit, and then just had teammates fighting, and ultimately that doesn't help anything whatsoever. So sadly, I am now 1 loss away from going to Diamond 1. It's crazy how that happens sometimes, but just it is what it is. I haven't been playing a lot of competitive. Admittedly, I have been working on other heroes in quick play, and I've been spending most of my free time when I could be gaming making these videos. So my time in competitive has been lessened over the last week, I would say, but that's okay. We are coming up on a new season here pretty soon, so I'm not like too concerned about chasing rank at the moment. It's something that I do plan to focus on very heavily when season 3 comes around. But right now, I'm still just kind of working out like how I can best flex and you know, where I can make the biggest differences. But like I said, no change in rank as of this moment. And the other thing I want to bring up is just some interesting things. Well, I have some fun clips, and first of all, I mean, can we talk about this dude here? I thought this was like the perfect little guy to put here for this image. He's like raging, I guess. Anyway, tangent. Some fun clips from some games. I want to start including this in my videos just to give you guys, you know, like a little bit more gameplay and just like something more interesting, I guess, than probably just like listening to me speak. But I've got some cool clips here, and then also something like absolutely insane that I saw a Penny do the other day that has never happened to me before. And it was mildly embarrassing to have this happen, but like I said, I'd never experienced it, so I didn't even know you could do this. But I went back into the gameplay and looked at how this actually happened, and it's pretty insane. I also have some really like amazing clips I'm going to share a little bit later in this video in regards to one hero specifically, and I've gone back and forth on whether or not I want to show these clips because it's like a crazy tech that a lot of people probably don't know about. Maybe some of you do, but it was the first time that I had seen it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this absolutely breaks this hero. So anyway, we're going to get into that a little bit later, so make sure that you stay tuned for that.
I see you've been taking my lessons to heart, magic.
There! Don't turn back now! You're halfway there! Keep going! Double KO! That's 3! Wow! 4 in a row!
Okay, this is the Peni Tech that I was talking about. This is just seriously ridiculous. I've never seen anything like this in this game. Look at these little mines just flying all the way from their spawn into the middle and just connecting ever so perfectly right on the door here. Just in time for me to walk through a little bit later and get nuked right off the start of the game. What a jerk. I hope you guys enjoyed those. I thought that they were really fun, and I don't even know why I made this slide, honestly. We're just going to move on to the next one here. Target, priority, and breakdown. This is a very, very important conversation to be having. Now, if you didn't see my last video, it was all about how to break the EOMM algorithm basically right now by choosing to spend time on the heroes that have the highest potential to carry. If you have not seen that yet, I will put a card up at the top for you. It's very important to watch that video, especially as we're coming into season 3 right now and everyone kind of gets a little bit of a reset. But for target, priority, and breakdown, this is a little bit of like an expansion on that, and you're going to be seeing some of those heroes showing back up here again. I thought originally when I was playing this game, I guess I think a lot of people feel this way too, is like you got to take care of the strategists. Eliminate the strategists and you're good to go. Well, the problem with that right now that I'm finding is that the strategists are becoming a little bit more aware of how to deal with divers, and peeling is becoming something that like tanks and the DPS characters are a little bit more apt to do at the moment. At least I'm seeing that in Grandmaster right now. But also the strategists are a little more aware that if you just heal each other, it can be really difficult to take you down. And I've actually been seeing that quite a bit here recently. I had some games just the other day playing where we had a Black Panther and a Spider-Man, and they were diving us at different times, and I was playing as Jeff, and we had a Luna on the team, and we were just healing each other back and forth, and they couldn't do anything. And then we were getting the elims on it, and it just became an easy win because of the level of awareness between the two of us working together. And there were no in-game comms either. We were just working off of each other like that. So it's not as easy to take out the strategist as you might think, and committing to try to do it, it can prove to be a mistake sometimes. It can result in overextending, being out of position. You gotta know, right? If you're gonna make that investment of that bit of time in game and in your skill use resource, you got to know it's going to be effective, you know. And I feel like more often than not right now, it's harder to get to them than it ever was before. People are just more aware. Vanguards, I would place at a low priority. The reason that I say that is because they're just getting healed. Right? It's good to create that pressure. You don't want to leave them unchecked. You don't want to let them just do their thing with no repercussions. You need to make them aware that you're there, and you need to make them use their skills. But they're a low priority. Use them as a target until, you know, the team fight evolves a little bit, you know, somebody getting out of position, but you need to be very, very quick to change that target to something that you can actually have an effect on, so that later you can return to the tanks and then you can actually take them down easily. Duelists, I place as the high priority. This is the DPS output. The majority of it is going to be coming from them. Tanks are doing crazy damage right now. Magneto does crazy damage. Strange, Emma does crazy damage. But the duelists, like, this is their role. This is their purpose. It's to deal as much damage as possible. The duelists are the ones that they're going to be looking for your strategists. They're going to be looking for your duelists. So if you are not combating them effectively, it can become a huge problem. If you are just putting all of your ammo and your resources into the tanks, and the duelists on the other team are looking at your backline, you're very quickly going to find yourself at a disadvantage. The strategists I put at a medium priority. Obviously, if you can eliminate the strategist, that's great. Reduce the healing that the enemy team is receiving, that's incredible. The issue that I have with putting strategists at a high priority right now is that we have tanks that are very difficult to take down, even if you only have one strategist still on board. The reason for that being is that Magneto's shield, the bubble shield that he can apply to other people or himself, Strange's shield is a serious problem right now. It is so difficult to deal with that. It creates incredible objective presence. Not only can his shield stop you from dealing damage to their team, he can also progress forward and stop your healers from getting heals through to your front line. The positioning potential with Strange and the objective control right now is just absolutely insane. So strategists, I feel like they're going to come like secondary in the way that I kind of look at how these battles are unfolding. And again, this is my experience. So if you feel differently, that's okay. It's 100% fine to say that, you know, strategists are definitely the highest priority. It's really hard to get to the strategists right now. And it's even harder to get to them when the duelists are just running free, doing whatever they want to do. And they're the ones that are not being checked because you're you're just focusing on the tanks and the strategists. If you can get a duelist down or both duelists down, and then now you go for the strategist, that's going to be a much higher potential of you being successful. The other thing too is a lot of the duelists kind of fend for themselves. They're getting the health packs and that kind of thing, so they're not really a target priority for the healers as much as you might think that they are. Healers are primarily focused on tanks unless the duelists that are being played are on the ground level playing alongside the tanks. That's just how I see things being played out right now. But first and foremost would be the fourth point here, and that's the team fight. You need to read the room. And maybe the most important thing to be considering here in target priority is the team fight. You need to read the room. Look at what's going on around you, and this is a really big one here. If you can figure out who on their team early on is the difference maker, and you can focus them down and bully them and maybe even make them change from, I guess, what will probably be their main, that can be enough to swing the fight for you. It's not uncommon for a team to be pretty good and have one person on it that is like the make or break player. So if you can isolate that person and really make it difficult for them to do what they're doing, that can totally swing things for you. But aside from that, analyzing the team fight to notice when someone is out of position, someone's pushing a little bit too hard, maybe they've got someone on the team that's a little greedy and you can capitalize on that by baiting them, rotating around the fight to make yourself be able to hit different angles. It's all about how you work the area and how you read what the other team is doing. It's so common in a team fight for someone to accidentally end up out of position. The ball of the fight, it moves around, right? So how you are rotating around that, how you're managing that zone and your positioning makes a huge difference. Don't get lost in the mix. Be the one that's controlling it, right? So with the tanks, control how the middle is moving around, and as the DPS players, as the duelist, control the way that you move around the fight as it's happening so you're maintaining the angles that you need. And as the strategist, just make sure that you're not getting caught off guard. Make sure that you are also rotating with that so that you're not losing sight of parts of the fight that are happening, you're not losing line of sight, and you're able to effectively heal the people that are needing at that point in time. Now this slide is like a little bit of a revisitation on something that we talked about previously in priority picks and priority bans, which was another video that I did. If you didn't see that, definitely check that out. Sadly, I can only do one card per video, so I don't know, I guess you'll just have to find that one, but it's not that far back. It's a good video, definitely watch it. This is based on the tournament data. I took this photo or the screenshot like a week ago. I'd looked to see if there was an updated one in some of the streams recently, but I couldn't find one, but I can't imagine it would be changed that much. So what we're basically looking at here is who gets picked the most. Now, Vanguards are clearly the top priority in picks, and then strategists, and then it would look like duelists are the least important pick. But the thing is, the hero pool for the duelists is so large that there's such a revolving door of them that it's not like you're picking from an already small pool and then within that pool, the small amount that are like the biggest difference makers. Like as an example, thinking about Vanguards, right? If you were like playing a true tank, right? So we're not even going to consider Captain America in this, but Emma, Magneto, Strange, Groot, like these are the ones that are like really playing that true tank role. So that would be why, you know, obviously Magneto is the top pick here. He's arguably the best tank in the game right now. Emma and Strange, they serve different roles, so it's hard to compare the two, but Emma is also just absolutely insane, and Strange is incredible right now. But the duelist role has so many options, so that's why it probably looks like they're not being prioritized, but they are. It's just you can pick from many of them. So this is just a really important thing to understand as we go into this video, that not only do certain heroes have a higher pick rate, but certain roles have a higher pick rate as well. So when we're considering target priority, I would say as far as countering is concerned, these are the dangerous strategists that we have at hand. Now the strategist role is very interesting because it's a very dynamic set of heroes. They're not all just doing the same thing. They all have very unique kits. They all bring so much to the table, and it's playing as a strategist main is so much fun because you have all these little like niche roles within the role that just make it really interesting and really fun to swap back and forth, because it's pretty wild how much making a swap from one strategist to another can change the match. Not unlike changing from one Vanguard to another can change the match, but you don't really see that like too often within the duelist role. Like yes, there are certain maps and certain team compositions where playing one duelist over another can be more effective, but you really do notice the change when you're playing different strategists in different Vanguards. These four are the priority picks and bans at the moment right now. Not so much bans, I guess I would say more priority picks. Obviously Invis is still very prevalent as well, but the reason I didn't include her here and I put Jeff in is for a reason that we'll get to in a moment. These are the strategists where if they are getting out of position, you need to deal with them as fast as possible. Capitalize on that, get them off the map. The first one, Adam Warlock. He has been proven to be far more effective than I personally would have ever realized. And I've been seeing that within the Marvel Rivals Ignite tournament. The ability to res your entire team is extremely powerful, yes, but pairing him with Star-Lord and Mantis for the team up is just absolutely insane. If you have the opportunity to take out Adam Warlock, or at least make him waste one of his skills, or just get everything on cooldown for him, that's an opportunity that needs to be taken. The next is Cloak and Dagger, and this isn't in any specific order or anything like that. I just put them on here. Cloak and Dagger is incredibly good. Very high healing output, but most notably what we're seeing the greatest effect from her kit be is the ability to weaken the enemy and make them receive more damage. This is something that is incredibly powerful, because as you get higher up in rank, the awareness and the potential of the strategist players, the healing, it goes off the charts. I mean, we're looking at games like in the tournament right now, people like 50, 60, 70,000 healing in a game. How do you deal with that? How do you break through that? Well, you have to utilize other parts of different kits to make that possible. Weakening the enemy to make them take more damage is a great way of countering that. Cloak and Dagger are very good right now. I know for a lot of like the early day, well, at least for me, the early days, like season 1.5 was when I started toward the end of 1.5. Everyone was just kind of dunking on Cloak and Dagger. I was too. I said many times in some of my earlier videos that I didn't think that she was that good. Things have changed. She is incredibly effective and very good right now. Luna Snow, aside from Loki, okay? Loki arguably being the best in the game. Luna is a problem right now. Super high damage, super high healing. The ability to like side quest heal somebody else with her frost and allow them to do the diving, you know, throwing that on Captain America is just absolutely nuts. She's very good, and she's getting banned a lot. Now cloning her kit with Loki, that just makes everything even more insane. She is so good right now, and if you have the ability to pick on Luna and get her off the map or get her away from the team, this is very important to be doing. Jeff, now look. I know everyone has a problem with Jeff, okay? So many people say he's not good. He's like the worst healer in the game. It doesn't matter. I feel like it doesn't matter whatever happens to Jeff in this game, period. Forever, people will just hate him and just assume that he's bad. I accept it. It's okay. And I'm happy to prove everybody wrong in games when they complain that I'm playing as Jeff and that I do super well. So Jeff is interesting. I think what everybody needs to note about Jeff is with the kit rework, the healing bubbles became so much better. It's no longer a burst heal. Now it's a heal over time. And not only is it a heal over time, but anyone that has that bubble effect on them receives 15% more healing from any and all other sources. That makes your Cloak and Dagger, that makes your Luna, it makes your whatever, deal 15% more healing. If you as Jeff can effectively and, you know, strategically be placing these bubbles on your tanks or divers during team fights, it can be even more difficult for the enemy team to take them down. This is a very powerful attribute that Jeff has, and I feel like a lot of people don't know this. So think about that. That is an incredible advantage to be giving your team, to be receiving that much healing. And aside from that, he has AoE healing that he can do from a massive distance away to keep himself safe, or he can be right up in it dealing damage with the same thing that he's healing with, the water burst. It's so good. It is so good. In his alt, traditionally speaking, it's not a support alt, because it's not, well, if you eat your own team, you will heal them while you're swimming around with them, yes, which can be great. That can be save people from an alt. It's a very tactical approach. But the other thing about his alt is that it's more in the CC realm of the strategist play. Now, when you look at Luna Snow, or you look at like Invis, let's say, for example, their alt is providing the ability for you to fight through a heavy battle by receiving massive healing for a short period of time. Jeff's alt, when used correctly, is going to just remove the enemy team from the fight entirely, or at least some of them. Now, you can miss. It's all about baiting out certain skills and making sure that it's safe for you to go in and do it. You can miss, yes, but you can whiff another alt too. I don't see how missing a Jeff alt is any different than Cloak doing her alt and then just getting nuked by Magneto, right? We're talking about the same thing here. This is an alt whiffed. This is a wasted attempt, right? It happens with everyone. It doesn't just happen to Jeff. So think about that. Plenty of times I see Punishers use their ult and then we just nuke them. But nobody complains about that. But you miss an ult with Jeff, whole lobby starts crying. Keep this in mind. He's better than you think he is, and I think everyone just needs to like realize it's okay for him to be good. Don't have a problem with him being a good strategist right now. Is he better than Luna? No. Is he better than, I don't know, Invis? Debatable. Better than Cloak? Maybe not. But I mean, plenty of people play other heroes that aren't better than another option too, but nobody complains about it. It's just the strategist. It's just people love to complain about the strategist, and specifically they like to complain about Jeff. So without continuing down that tangent and that rant there, let's move on to the next, shall we? We're going to talk about the wall now. Now, who is the wall? You may have guessed it. It's Strange. No surprise there. The shield is just nuts. He is, when it comes to taking over an objective, Strange is public enemy number one. If the enemy team has a good Strange, man, it's so hard to push into that enemy team line. He has the ability to block healing from your team on your tanks when they've pushed into the team fight. He's blocking damage incoming. He has great crowd control because of that. He is just so good right now. I'm finding him to be just insanely effective. He's got great damage right now. The shield, if you can't get the shield down, you're just at an instant deficit. You need to have the right heroes at hand on your team to be dealing with that shield, and to deal with that, it requires consistent damage. Otherwise, he's just going to be constantly blocking everything because he's going to have time to like recharge it. You need to be destroying the shield instantly and take that away from his kit. The teleport, this is what I was talking about earlier on in the video, that I wasn't sure if I wanted to share this tech that I saw, but I'm going to do it. Some of you may already know about this. You might say, oh, it's crazy you didn't know about this. Well, maybe it is crazy I didn't know about this, but I've never seen this happen in my games. I saw this happen during the tournament, and it blew my mind. It made me realize, like, man, if I'm going to spend time learning a Vanguard right now, I think it's got to be Strange. I think it's got to be Strange. So let's take a look at this so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, I took this screenshot from the Marvel Rivals Ignite tournament, and you'll notice here, portal on each of these doors. There are 2 entrances and exits for the enemy team to be going in and out of here. And in the match with FlyQuest against 100 Thieves, when FlyQuest won, spoiler alert if you didn't watch the stream already, they did this, and you can't get out of spawn. This is just nuts. I had not seen anyone do this, and this wasn't the only time they did it in this match. They did it 2 times. Let's take a look at the second time. Okay, this is the other example. From that same match, they did this. You can see it happening here up on the top left, and it even catches the announcers off guard. Look at this. All 6 of them trapped in there. This stops them from being able to get to the other checkpoint and touch to try and save this fight to get the 3rd point. This is just absolutely nuts. To see this happen in a tournament, to see this be what stops that final push from happening, this is just another example of relevance for Doctor Strange. He is so good. The potential, like, and the forethought to be playing in this way. How do you combat this? Like, how do you deal with this? This is so insane. Now, I've seen people do this before with, like, you put it in front of the spawn door and then you put it off the map, and people, at the beginning of the game, they jump through it and they fall off. There's like the meme concept to that, but this, strategically speaking, to be stopping a point from happening by controlling spawn, it's insane. Now, look, I said I've never seen this happen before. I've seen versions of this, right? Like I said, I've fallen victim to jumping out of spawn at the start of a game and going through a portal and falling to my death. It's happened, right? But to see this strategically played out this way and at such a high level of gameplay right now, imagine mastering this, the timing and everything, and bringing this into your competitive lobbies. Think about that. So yeah, I just think that Strange right now is insane. Now, that's not to say that you can necessarily be carrying with him, but if you are not dealing with Strange on the enemy team, he is going to be a serious problem. It's going to make it very difficult for you to accomplish anything objectively speaking in that game. In order to deal with Strange, I think, for me personally, I would say the number 1 duelist to pick would be Punisher. If you need to just counter a Strange that just doesn't seem to be going down at any point in time, here's a really good way to do it. This consistent damage with his extended clip, the higher damage output, the turret, this is a really good way to kind of take a little bit away from Strange's kit. And it's not just Strange either. He can melt the Groot walls, he can remove Penny's nest really quickly, he can also destroy Rocket's ult really fast, especially if Punisher uses his ult. When the enemy Rocket uses his ult, you can just nuke the ult instantly. But aside from that, you can also use him against flyers, so he's got a lot of utility. He's got decent enough movement. You can kind of do like a little like flanking, diving play with him sometimes too if you get really comfortable with the movement. He's just a phenomenal pick. Very, very high damage. Some people would say he's the best duelist in the game right now. I think it very much depends on the team comp, but I will say more and more often right now, we are seeing Strange and Magneto teamed up as tanks. Punisher is a phenomenal way to try to combat that. The only thing that I would say that maybe would make me say that he's not the best is he doesn't have the AoE to his kit like some of the other DPS characters do, like Torch, for example, or Iron Man. Obviously, Punisher's better than Iron Man right now. Let me just say that outright at the moment, but they play a different role. It's a little bit different. But I would say that I still stand by feeling like Torch especially after watching the Marvel Rivals Ignite tournament, is just the most insane DPS hard carry right now. The AoE over single target, you know, it just depends on how it works. Now, Punisher does have the ability to, with his single target damage, really just nuke somebody, especially with his ult. The ult is incredibly powerful, but it can be hard to break through high healing situations with that. Even I've played some games as Punisher when the enemy team's healing was just on point and you maybe get one elim. It just depends on the other team, right? So everything's situational. This is kind of what I was talking about before. It's really hard to truly give like the perfect counter situation and have that conversation because there's so many different things that come into play. It's just tough to do. But I would say Punisher, number one for dealing with any sort of obstruction and shielding right now. This is a phenomenal counter pick if you have a good Strange on the enemy team. A solid secondary option is going to be Squirrel Girl. Look, she's a lot better than a lot of people think. She is incredibly strong right now. And so I would honestly put her as second in this regard because you have the ability to just be throwing a barrage of acorns down into the objective area. You can play from much farther back. Punisher's a little bit more up close and personal. If you do struggle with that play style and you do like to play a little bit more back, a little bit more safe, Squirrel Girl's a great option for you. Use the geometry, you know, in your head. Bounce the acorns off different things. Find the angles to work, you know, the map to your advantage, but you can also use her very effectively to bypass the team fight and pick off the strategists in the back line. Sometimes they don't even realize what they're getting hit by until it's too late. It's sneaky the way that you can use her damage to kind of just get into the back line. She's got good CC with her locking skill. I don't know, whatever it's called, but you have that ability too to take away some mobility. So you can also protect yourself against divers. This is something that I have found to be very powerful, is being able to use I wish I knew what the skill was called, but she throws the acorns out and it traps somebody, right? You can time that in a way where you can like trap someone back to back by doing the skill refresh. I honestly, playing as Squirrel Girl, I've gotten pretty good at countering like Psylocke and Spider-Man and even Black Panther. Usually they have a cue, you know when they're coming, you can hear them, you just got to look for them, hit them with a stun, hit them with one acorn. Maybe they will try and fight you again, hit the refresh, stun them. Otherwise, normally that's enough to make them say like, I gotta get out of here. Or it's enough time for somebody else to come help you out. So Squirrel Girl's fantastic right now. Very high damage. She totally counters the shields, definitely counters the Groot walls, deals very great damage to the front line. And like I said, you can sneakily eliminate the back line. So this is also a phenomenal pick right now. Now we got to talk about the enabler. It's really funny actually. When I was talking to somebody else, it's Magneto. Okay. I was talking to somebody else about Magneto in Discord earlier today, and they mentioned him being an enabler. And I made this slideshow yesterday and I was like, that's funny that they said that, because I actually said that in my slideshow, which it's a little bit of validation because that's kind of how I view him. Here he is. I talked about Magneto in the previous video that I made about him being, you know, likely the biggest potential for hard carry as far as the Vanguards are concerned. He's doing very high damage. He's got CC. He can bubble himself or bubble somebody else going for a dive, or another DPS player who's doing really good work. He can bubble a strategist to save them from a dive. He really is an enabler. But the thing is, he is doing so much all by himself as well that not only is he making it easier for your team to do their job, he's making it easier for himself to contribute. He has great damage, even better crowd control, and then the ability to sway team fights is truthfully, in my opinion, right now, with the way that the meta feels, it's unmatched. He's doing high damage. He's got a stun in his kit. He can just cancel strategist ults. Like most notably, we see it all the time with Cloak and Dagger, him just going up and timing it for the Cloak and Dagger ult. That's a really big deal in gameplay, to take away a strategist ult like that, and not only just take away the ult, but remove that strategist from the map for that point in time. It's insane. You talk about a strategist not being able to realize their potential. Cloak and Dagger with Magneto on the field, it's just not an option. And she's maybe second to Loki. It's like, if you're thinking about just like a true healer, just a true healer, maybe the highest output right now, I don't know, it's comparable. Her and Luna's doing like crazy work too right now. So I haven't looked at the stats. I don't want to make a statement there that I could be wrong on, but regardless, Cloak and Dagger is extremely good right now. And to be able to just counter her like that, it's nuts. I don't know. I have been finding, like I mentioned before, a lot of teams are even playing triple tank, Magneto, Strange, and Emma. It is very difficult to deal with. If you do not have really good DPS on your team, you're not getting through it. You cannot heal through trying to deal with 3 tanks that you just simply can't even take down. It's wild. Like the Vanguard situation right now, I don't know. This was shaping up to be like a flyer poke meta, but truthfully, it's really starting to feel like this is just a straight up Vanguard meta. 3 Vanguards, 2 healers, one duelist. It's wild. It's wild right now. The final one that I'm going to put in here is public enemy number 3, Emma. She is a total nuke right now. And I'll be honest with you guys, I almost forgot to put her in here. I just had the other 2. And then I was actually going through and editing this and I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing somebody. Emma. I didn't put Emma in here to give her a focus point. The reason I have these three in here, and I've delegated them to these terms, is they are truly the most relevant heroes in the game right now that require active countering. If you do not deal with Strange, with Magneto, with Emma, you cannot take control of the objective. Now, I hear that, the opinion could stand, and it would be tough to disagree with it, right? Because everything's situational and conditional, but you got to deal with the strategists in order to deal with the Vanguards. You got to deal with the DPS before you can deal with the Vanguards. Maybe. But all that to be said, if you cannot deal with the Vanguards, then you cannot take the objective. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. I've had many games that I have played where we get the Duelist down, we get the Strategist down, and because of the shields from Strange and Magneto together, we can't get the two of them down, and by the time, we're getting close to that, a healer has already returned because, 10, 15 seconds has passed since one of them was eliminated. When you're not dealing with things effectively or in a quick enough time frame, right? That's another thing too here is how fast you can deal with these heroes. The effect becomes nullified at some point, right? It's so easy to eliminate 5 people from the other team and they've taken out like 2 of your teammates, let's say for example, and Captain America is just running free around the objective point and you can't cap the objective because he's there still and you can't get him. And then now a healer's back, another the DPS back, and now you got another whole team fight on your hands. You never completed the team wipe or took the objective back. If you cannot deal and counter these 3 specifically, you will not take control of objective presence. This is just the reality. Taking one of them off of the board is arguably more valuable than taking a DPS player off the map right now. That's just the way that this meta is shaping up. This is the way that the games feel. This is how the tournament looks as well. This is just something very, very important to be thinking about right now. Emma's dealing insane damage. She's got great sustain. She is a constant problem for all DPS characters aside from like the flyers and like long range. The Vanguards as well, and Strategists and out of position Strategist is going to get nuked instantly. But Emma's biggest counter isn't even necessarily a specific hero, whereas like Strange has some good, counters, to be found with Punisher as an example, being able to constantly break his shield down. Emma doesn't really have like a specific counter aside from distance. You just need to keep some space from her and you'll be just fine. I know it's hard to do, easier said than done, right? But that's honestly, I have found that to be the biggest counter against Emma is to just not let her get too close to you. If she is at 100% charge, she's going to be dealing a ton of damage. If she goes into diamond form and she grabs you and you're a strategist or a DPS player, you're probably not going to survive. Like, let's be real here. Her CC is good enough. It's there. She's got the ice shield. She's got the ability to grab someone. The kick is really powerful too, just to like knock people back or kick people into her own back line to be dealt with. Area control presence is good. It's undeniable. If she's in the zone, it's hard to take that over while she's there because you don't want to get too close to her. You don't know if she's got the diamond form or not, so you have to be very careful. It's not the same as like Magneto or Strange as an example, but her damage is just absolutely nuts right now. So she 100% needs to be actively countered, and you need to be aware of how to do that safely, and that's going to be from a distance. And now the duelists that are causing the biggest issues, and I did this slide this way because I didn't really want to spend too much time like diving into a bunch of the duelists because there's so many of them and it's so conditional and situational to their like effectiveness, based on the map, based on the type of objective, based on enemy team comps. Again, like there's a rabbit hole you can go down trying to talk about, who does the best countering and targeting and whatever. But when you're thinking about duelist issues, like these are priority picks right now. And I would also say that they're priority targets for trying to counter. Torch is... Look, we all thought that he was bad. He's not. He's incredible still. Constant use in the tournament. He's dealing high AoE damage and he's difficult to get to. Very high mobility. He's a high skill ceiling, which I would say makes him the hardest carry and therefore the most, important priority target if you're trying to think about taking out the duelist. And these aren't in any specific order. Again, I just like slap these on here, but Torch is just incredibly good right now. Punisher as well. So good. If there's a Punisher on the enemy team, you need to be dealing with him. He is going to be the one that's going to make it tough for your tanks to do their job, and therefore he needs to be dealt with. It's easy for a Punisher to just kind of play back, and it can be hard to get to them. So it's really important to figure out early on, like, how accurate is this Punisher? How effective is this Punisher? And how do we get to him? It's important to start figuring that out. Moon Knight, I know he's considered in some instances to be someone that's just dealing junk damage, but you can't deny the pressure from a Moon Knight. If you are caught off guard by him, he can nuke a duelist, he can nuke strategist, He's a very powerful flanker and diver. I would say effectively even more powerful as a diver than like Black Panther and Spider-Man right now. He has the ability to really just show up out of nowhere and just nuke whoever he's hitting. He's got a little bit of interrupt with his Ankh throw, and he's just dealing so much damage. It really cannot be ignored. Wolverine is such an incredible carry. Such an incredible carry. This is your biggest potential in taking down the tanks, but you need him paired with somebody else, and you need good tank presence for yourself as well. Ideally, you have a Magneto on your team that can bubble you up as Wolverine to give you that extra bit of survivability. It'd be nice to have a Punisher as well to help you just with that damage, to help melt a tank. But these 4 specifically right now, if they are left unattended, they are going to shred your team. You need to figure out where they are, analyze the team fight situation, figure out how you can get to them and remove them from the map. If you can get these duelists off of the enemy team, this is going to make it so much easier for you to then go for the strategists and then go for the tanks. It's just the way it is right now, I think. I mean, obviously, Hela's super good right now. It's worth mentioning. Psylocke is really good right now as well. Certainly worth mentioning too. Black Panther has been showing up and being stronger than I think most people had thought originally. But these 4, man, you got to counter them. And the best way to counter them is honestly just by focusing them down as a team. Duelist to duelist situation here. It's tough. If you can apply any sort of stun or you have any sort of AoE effect, like that's why Luna's so good right now. Being able to freeze a duelist and then focus them down with another, like a duelist from your team, this is phenomenal. I mean, it's no surprise, right? These duelists are like the hardest counter for the Vanguard situation that we have going on right now. And unsurprisingly, I would say Magneto, Strange, Emma, they're the hardest counter to these duelists. We have a very interesting meta shaping up in front of us here right now where it's really coming down to target focusing. It's very important at this point in time to be working as a team, to be trying to make sure that you are prioritizing the correct target. So really quickly, we're just going to revisit this slide before we close this out. Vanguards are low priority right now. Make them aware that you're there. Deal with the shields, take away a bit of their kit if you can, make them use their skills. But as soon as you have the opportunity to go for somebody else, make sure that you're doing it. Duelists are the highest priority. They are just doing so much damage right now. It's undeniable. They need to be dealt with. Strategists being the medium priority, I would say if you can get a duelist down or even both duelists down if they have 2, then you start going for the strategist, your success rate in getting the strategist is going to greatly improve. I see duelists right now really kind of showing up for the strategist. I know there's probably always going to be the argument between one role's better than another and one role can't stand the other role and whatever. But like, look, if we all play as a team, that's how this really all comes together. You don't see the pros in the tournament talking down on one role or another. Sure, some of them do it for content, but guys, it's just for content. Right? Polarizing content performs super well. This is so true. We see it with like all sorts of media, news included. Make sure that you're analyzing the team fight. This is just so important, not only for your own survival and your own safety within the game, but your ability to help and contribute and have a big team fight impact. Target priority is whoever is doing the most at that point in time. Make sure that you are focusing on Strange to get his shield down. Make sure you're focusing on Magneto to make him use his skills. Make sure that you're focusing on the high DPS carry potentials that we just talked about in this video. Punisher, Moon Knight, Torch, Squirrel Girl even. These are heroes that if you don't deal with them, they're going to be a problem. And like I said, I do believe that in a lot of instances, there's definitely one, maybe 2 people on a team that are the one that are going to be swinging it. And because they're doing so well, the rest of the team performs well too. If you can shut these players down, if you can analyze the situation and figure out who that is and counter them, that's the way to do it. Analyze your games, look at who you're playing against, make the swaps appropriately, and don't hesitate to swap. Or when somebody asks you if you can swap, don't be defensive about it. I had some games yesterday where we asked somebody to swap to Punisher so that we could try to deal with a Strange a little bit more effectively. Man, it'd be like you said the worst possible thing in the world to this guy. He just was so mad after being asked to swap, and it was asked nicely, not by me, by somebody else on the team. It's okay to swap. It's okay to swap. Leave the ego at the door. Come in with the willingness to help your team so that you can focus on prioritizing the correct targets in the game and that you know that you're bringing the right heroes to the game. As always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for another video. If you have not subscribed yet, I would love it if you did so. I'm continuing to pump these videos out, and I feel like despite being kind of like foggy right now coming off of this cold, I feel like I stayed on point here. Again, this is just meant to be a short story about priorities and who to focus and that kind of thing. I didn't want to dive like too crazy deep into it, but I will say right now, I am a little out of it just due to being a little bit sick right now. So anyway, if you guys have other thoughts on this or you'd like me to expand on this a little bit more, I'd be happy to do so. Leave me a comment, join the Discord. We can chat about these things. Let me know who you've been having the biggest problem with in your matches as well, because maybe it's different than what I'm dealing with over on my end here. So like I said, thank you so much for tuning in. I would appreciate the sub. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.